And now we want to talk about the options interface or dialog box here under the application pull down. Over here to the right, you can see there's an options button. So we're going to click on there, and inside of there we've got several tabs at the top, and there's some critical information that is pointed out and specified in here. So first of all, you can see it has your username here. So if you're using work sets, it's going to use this username as your name within the WorkSets environment. We have some save reminder referral, so interval. So every 30 minutes, Revit's going to remind you to save. So that's good. Synchronize with central reminder. So this is reminders and notifications. We have our username over here, journal file information, number of journals to keep, delete journals older than, so it keeps information on the what's happening with the file. Work sharing update frequency, more frequency, etc. So you can slide this up and down. The other interesting thing in here is that anytime you want to see anything, if you hit the help menu right here, it'll actually open up the help, and then it'll go to this area of the help menu, which is nice. So next tab over, we have user interface. Inside of here, you can see my screen is kind of light. I have it set to light. If you change it to be dark, it'll change kind of the background image of this interface. Okay, keyboard shortcuts. This is great because in AutoCAD you have a PGP file, and in Revit we can just click on here, and inside of here we can take any one of the commands that Revit uses, and you have to just look at how it goes. It says pick the contextual tab, then edit analytical model, etc. So what you have to do is find in here all of the commands are already in there, and then you just pick on here, and then you can type in the new keys. So you can make this tag on placement. You could just type in here TP. Okay, and then if you assign that, then if you type TP on your keyboard, you'll get this tool, which is under the contextual tab tag. Okay, if we go down here, we can search for something else. Let's just say wall. There's an easy one. Well, wall partition wall is under home, build, structure. So if you look inside of here later, we'll see where the wall tool is, and we can see it's already assigned to WA. If we sort here by the names like this, we can go in and have a look at which ones have already been assigned, etc. You can import and export PGP files, or shortcut files, I should say. They're XML files. So if you've ever used AutoCAD and you have a PGP file or shortcut file, this is Revit's version of that. Okay, and you just have to get used to the syntax and how this stuff works. So that's, again, I'll save those changes. So that's in here under keyboard shortcuts. Okay, tab display behavior, some information inside of here for the tabs that are up over here. Tool tips, do you want normal tool tips? Do you want no tool tips? This is just when you hover over something and a tool tip shows up, how do you want it to behave? Graphics area inside of here, and I am just kind of skimming. I'm not going to cover everything in here. Graphics mode, use hardware acceleration. This is great if you can do it. If you run into problems, you can turn that off. Invert background here will take your actual background in Revit and make it black instead of white when you look at the drawing area. I've gotten used to the white area. When objects are selected or pre-selected, alerts, these are all little color sections. Temporary dimension text height, if you've got, you want your temporary dimensions to be bigger, you can bump this up and then they'll be just larger. So this helps you just for visual purposes. Temporary dimensions, whether they're background or not. So you can see there's different sections inside of here. File locations, this is important. Inside of here we can set the default template file. US Imperial default, and if you hit browse you can go in. We're going to talk about template files some more, so this is very important, which file you use to start Revit up, and this is the default. So if you don't say which one to use, it's going to use this file. That's the clincher. So whatever this file right here, default RTE, that's a Revit template file. If I go new and don't specify a template file, this is the default template file. You can also go browsing for one. Default path for user files. you can put in there, and that is for when you're using work sets, etc., and where it's going to get saved, and you can put a file name on there as well. So default path for user files is your place you want to save. Default path for family template files is when you say you want to create a new family. Where's it going to go to get that information? Root path for point clouds. This is a new one inside of here. So again, just the default path for point cloud data. Okay. We can also click on here where it says places, and we can add more places by hitting a plus on here. And these add shortcuts to different folders and files that we might be using. So if you're working on a project and it's on a server on a certain drive somewhere and you have to keep clicking to go find it, you can add this. This is like Revit favorites, places. Revit has places instead of favorites. So if you click add here, you can give it a name, and then you can pick over here and browse and go pick a folder somewhere and then add that as a place. Now when I go in, I can change this name to say images or something like that, and that'll show up when I say new project or save as. I'll see that I'll have this shortcut in there, so I can hit OK on that. So these are locations. We've got some other information on macros and how your view cube and steering wheels work inside of there, your spell checker and how that works, and which is your dictionary. Some rendering information inside of here. If you have additional texture mapping files or anything like that, you can add those folders in here as well. Okay. And that's about all I wanted to talk about in our options. So we hit OK on that. So that's our options here. Big purple R under options. Okay, probably the most important one in there is probably your file locations. These guys inside of here. Most specifically this guy inside of here. Graphics, good information about how you want things to display, user interface information, general information in here. So that's it for our options dialog box, and we will come back and talk a little bit about some templates and starting up our project.